Hi, it's Ray from Pro Shaper in Charlton, Massachusetts. I've been getting a lot of emails and texts and messages on Facebook and every other way of communicating saying, hey Ray, when's the wheels and the mechanisms going? Well, we've been really busy. We're dealing with the COVID thing. We've had some classes, but maybe now the classes might slow down because supposedly the resurgence or whatever. So we've got, this is the initial wheel that we made. Frank made it, I painted it, and we've got the mechanism all designed and built on this, and Mark painted it up, and it works really, really good. I worked on this panel just a little bit earlier, and just a few minutes, and I got that nice crown in there. And I just wanted you to see the smoothness of this wheel. Now, some people might say, oh, you don't have a quick release on it. I don't have quick releases on any of my wheels. Years ago, I found them that they're really not necessary. If you've got a little relief on your edge of your wheel, you go in at a 45-degree angle and it'll let you right in. It's not a problem. So, and this is so easy. This adjuster is probably one of the best ones I've ever made, and it's just really nice and smooth, the action on it. So if Mark can come over, maybe roll over a little closer, and there's some grinding in the background. I don't know if that's getting picked up or not, but this is a really super smooth wheel, and I think people are going to be really, really happy with it. Now, we have a bunch of these we're building. I'm going to show you that in a minute. This is a real open design. As I mentioned before, we might be able to put some dovetails. I haven't got there yet. And you'll be able to quick change it into other machines like a planish and hammer or a tipping wheel or a few other machines. So that way you have a common C-frame and able to utilize. A lot of people have got a very little space to work with, and that worked really good. You could put a hinge on it. Somebody mentioned they'd want a hinge and put it on the wall, and you could hinge it against the wall. You wouldn't even need the arms if that was the case. Maybe the back legs you wouldn't need, just the front leg. So another inquiry was, Ray, we've been to your class and we love the big wheels. So this is the production wheel off of one of my big machines. This is off of Papa Bear. And I believe it's a 4 1/4 inch wide wheel or so, and this I believe is like a 4 1/2, and that's a really nice size. And some people might say, well Ray, you know, all the other wheels, they're like 9 or 10 or 12 inches in diameter, and yours is only like 6 or 6 1/2. Well, there's no disadvantage to it, and there actually is advantages. The advantage is when you're doing a reverse curve, you're working the panel upside down, and if there's a tight radius, it will navigate through that radius a lot easier. These wheels change out really fast. I have a little compression lock on this side. You just take an Allen, take that out, and boom, you pull the pin, and you'll be able to put narrow wheels on it if you want to. Sometimes the narrow wheel can be advantageous because they're trying to make this machine do a lot more than just one task. You can multitask with it. So narrow wheels could be put on, and if we adapted it to use to these bigger wheels, and you see that if this was right here, this shaft would have to drop down about an inch or so, and it would work fine. You got plenty of clearance here, you got clearance underneath, all desirable features. This here, we're working on that. We want to try to eliminate these so it's kind of a more smoother appearance. These are the bolts that clamp this together to keep this locked. So that has the ability to collapse all the way if you loosen it up. And but they do lock really nice. And the yokes turn 360. And so if you've got a panel, say you have a fender panel and the wheel opening is right here and you want to wheel that way, you can take the wheel opening, turn this 90 degrees, and you can wheel across. Maybe you're joining a fender together, and you can utilize all the potential of the machine by turning these wheels 90 degrees. So that's one of the updates. It's super attractive looking. These haven't been painted yet. The yokes haven't been painted. The yokes are all adjustable so that the yoke can be tipped like this on both sides. There's set screws on the bottom, and also the thrust on the wheel can be adjusted by turning these set screws, and that adjusts your thrust. And the same on the top wheel. And I'll show you now what we're doing with the second wheel. Frank, my volunteer, is building the second wheel. We'll take a walk over here and see that wheel. All right, here's wheel number 2. Frank's been diligently working on this. He's a volunteer, so he comes in 3 or 4 days a week. Sometimes he comes in 5 days. He's got bored, he comes in and he helps out. And he came in with very minimal both MIG and TIG welding skills. And now he's getting pretty good. If you look closely at some of these TIG welds, I had him TIG weld this one together because with the MIG he was really kind of snotty with his welds, and there was a lot of cleanup on the first one. So it took a lot of extra time, so I try to stress to make better and better welds. And he's doing a lot of welding, so his welding skills are improving. And that's all part of the good picture. And Frank's happy, I'm happy. And now on this one, as far as alignment of these back legs, the plans include, the deluxe plans include the angles and the length for the legs and everything. But it is a little bit of a problem lining them all up. So our intent is to make several of these wheels. Maybe we'll make a half a dozen of them. I've got a lot of this 4x4 steel that I picked up. And this is number 2, definitely number 3, and definitely number 4 is going to happen, maybe 5 and 6, I don't know. So Frank said, in order to speed things up, why don't we make a little jig to hold these legs so that we can weld them very accurately. So today he made up this little fixture here out of angle iron we have hanging around, and that's going to set the splay of the legs just right on every one. So we're trying to enhance this as much as possible. Now if you put bigger wheels on it, bigger wheels have bigger contact areas, and you might want to strengthen up the frame a little bit. Now you can strengthen the frame a couple ways. One, this is 1/4-inch wall, which is more than adequate for any automotive use, especially with that 3-inch wide lower anvil. But if you're going to jump up to a wider anvil, it wouldn't hurt to, you can jump up to 3/8 wall thickness on that. That will strengthen it. And the weakest link on this is right here and down here. And all wheels have to have elasticity in them. If they don't have the correct amount of elasticity in them, you won't be able to navigate on the panel. On some parts on the edge where you've shrunk, it might be 65 thousandths thick, and where you've thinned it out in the center of the panel, which was originally 60 thousandths thick, might be 45 thousandths thick. So you've got to go from 45 to 65 thousandths thick, a 20 thousandths difference. And if it's too stiff, it'll have trouble navigating into those thicker spots. It doesn't happen often, but if you make the wheel overbuild it, you're going to have that problem. So this wheel has very nice features about it. It doesn't have any problem at all navigating through, and it's not really loose or anything. It's a nice, strong wheel. But if you wanted to do heavier metals and you wanted to put wider contact area anvils, wider anvils on, it's very easy to strengthen this up. So one of the ways that I thought would be good, and it's very simple, and I could add it to the plans I suppose, is a piece like this. This would have a 45 cut right here, and then this would come up like this and go down here, and it would have an angle joint right in here, and then an angle joint in here, and you'd have two cool little parallelograms right there. It would enhance the look of the wheel and greatly enhance the strength of the wheel, because this part would now be in compression, and that would work really, really good. Now you could also do it, we made these little pieces here, you could make these out of 1/2-inch steel and weld these little pieces in like this, and then put a closure panel on them, and you could do the same thing down here, and that would really strengthen that up some more if you felt that you wanted it. Don't need it, but if you felt you wanted it, you could do it. So this is coming along pretty good, and probably another couple of weeks we'll have this one all painted, and the intent is to have at least 4 or 5 of these in the shop that the students will be using. So now I want to show you the mechanisms we've been working on. Here is a finished adjuster. You saw it on the wheel just a minute ago, but that's the quality. This is the premium one. This is going to be a top adjusted, a premium machine. On the basic one, it'll be a bottom adjuster, and I have it designed in my head, but we haven't made one yet. And this is one of the smoothest adjusters. It's really, really nice. What we do is we buy these bronze bushings. They're cast bronze, and they're all machined to a size. I can't get the proper size I want, so we have to take them and we turn them down to the proper size. They get inserted in here, and these Allen screws with locks on them, that squeezes that, and that gives you infinitely adjustability to make sure that that's nice and tight. So this wheel should probably, this adjuster should give you about 100 years of use before you would ever even think of having any wear on this bushing. So that's a nice bronze bushing. So then we use 1x14 thread. This isn't one, but this is, the ones that are on this adjuster is a little bit shorter. This is one for the bigger wheels we got. And this is the lower holder for the yoke, and this is where it locks with these aluminum, and you have the ability to go up and down with this, which increases the utility of the machine by being able to put different types of wheels and specialty wheels and all kinds of stuff in there. Here is our nice adjuster handle, and these go on with one set screw at the top, and all of these pieces are all going to be sold as complete units, just as you see it there. So you'll be able to buy the complete adjuster. You'll be able to buy a completed hand wheel, all painted and ready to go. But I'll also sell them as you finish them up. And we've got some photos to take yet. I thought I was going to have them priced out and have them on the website at proshaper.com today, but we've just been so busy we just didn't have time to do it. Hopefully next week we'll be less busy, because we've just had a couple classes back to back, and that really took a lot of my time. And next couple of weeks I should be less busy to be able to concentrate more on this. So here's the guts of the adjuster, where we turn them out. There's the bushing installed, and this little pin holds it so that you don't have any action turning. It locks the motion up and down. That's a nice little bracket. Somebody criticized me because I only had it 3/16, which would have been fine. I bumped it up to 1/4. So whoever criticized me, you can have a smile now. So the 1/4 is probably better. The 3/16 might have been adequate. These are the caps. We weld on a 1/2-inch piece of stock here on the top, and then we thread it to 1/14, and then we put these little tabs on here. These are the initial one, I welded it here like this, and I didn't really like the look of it, and so we got plug welds in here, and they'll work fine. And all you got to do is put a little grease on that, and that'll last a long, long time. This is what they start out like this, that gets welded on the top like that. These are all water jet parts. So let's go over to the other bench where we got a big production run. What we have here is the initial 3 that we did to prove out all the processes and stuff. The anvils are in the works, the top wheels are in the works. That'll be all coming together. Hopefully 2 or 3 more weeks at the most, we get it all together. So here's the yoke, the lower yoke here. So let's go over to the table where we have a whole bunch that we're building. All right, here's some of the components for the top adjuster and the lower yoke holder here. We turn them in the lathe. They put a beautiful finish on them. They're going to get painted, but it's nice to get them all the same. And then we have a CNC mill. We mount them in the CNC mill, and that positions all these holes that are threaded. And we also have to put that slot in there that keeps that top adjuster from turning. That's all milled in the CNC mill. And then we have to turn them on the inside. That's where it accepts that bronze bushing, and it gets locked in there. So those are coming along. That's a 10 unit run, and I'm waiting for the water jet cutter to send me some of the parts we need to do the yokes together, put the yokes together and stuff. So that should be happening next week sometime. So just wanted to keep you updated on where we are with the wheels, and we haven't forgotten everybody. It takes a long time to put them all together, so I think there's probably only a couple, 3 people that probably have them together. And we will get these together, and this is the deluxe adjuster and wheels and everything, and then we'll get a basic set adjuster and wheels, and it's still all happening, so be patient. Thanks for watching my YouTube videos. Tell other people. We need some new subscribers. We've had a big lull in viewership because I wasn't making any videos, but pass the word. And thank you very much for all the support you give. It's Ray Chalene from Pro Shaper Workshop. Thank you.